Hello and welcome to another edition of Motor Cars Enthusiasts. Right off the bat on the old show today, we've shown this vehicle off in shows past. This is the Nissan Grips concept. It's actually shown off the Frankfurt Motor Show. Got a little more details about this machine because this may be the future of what sports cars look like for the Nissan group and more of a crossover style, because apparently this thing with its carbon fiber backbone, carbon fiber wheels, and carbon fiber body apparently has the center of gravity of a lot of Nissan sports cars, and the fact that this vehicle is going to have a hybrid setup inside of it, which is going to be in a gasoline electric versions, which is supposedly going to have a fair amount of grunt. Not to mention this vehicle is going to be all-wheel drive with a drift mode, sending a lot of power to the rear wheels to get you a little sideways fun. Now, all that being said, this vehicle sounds nice. Again, it's just a design concept, so maybe nothing could come of this machine. But somebody on the old interwebs, and I wish I knew who because I'd love to thank them for this, and did this little mock-up of this particular machine. Yes, wouldn't this be the business if this was the brand new 370Z? I think this thing would sell quite well if this is what it was going to look like. We'll have to wait and see what comes of this vehicle in the future. Next up on the list, the big horse for the Honda group, the brand new Civic, the sales horse that is. This is going to sell an awful lot of machines. The brand new Civic, we've seen it in coupe form. We've seen even the Type R version, and there's going to be another version, a hatchback version of this coming down the pike as well. But as far as the brand new sedan, this is going to come in 4 different trim levels. You can either get it an LX, an EX, or an EXT and EXL. Now, if you go EXT, EXL, those are Touring Edition models, which come with a 1.5 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder unit. But if you go up to the, or I guess you should say go over to the LX, EX versions, those vehicles come with a 2-liter normally aspirated 4-cylinder that are either shifted through a CVT transmission, much like the 1.5-liter turbo is going to be exclusive in, but this one's going to have a little bit of a different option. Yes, I poked fun at Honda over several years because this group used to be one of the leaders in innovation, and they've really rested on their laurels about being really good at fuel economy and their perceived quality and perceived fuel economy situation here in the United States, and just been selling cars on those merits. But that has got a little bit of goodness when it comes to this car, because that 2-liter could be hooked up with a 6-speed manual transmission, which may make this vehicle a whole lot more entertaining. Next up on the list, BMW showing off the brand new M6 Competition Edition. Now, I know that they've shown off some Competition Editions in the past, but this is the brand new one for the 2016-2017 model year. Now, this is a little tip of the hat to the DTM series, their racing series, over in Germany. Now, the vehicle obviously gets a lot of striping, which you could probably delete if you disliked, but the heart of the beast does get a little bump up. The 4.4-liter twin-turbocharged V8 now makes 600 brake horsepower and 516 pounds-feet of torque. That is up from the 560 brake horsepower and 501 pounds-feet of torque. Now, as far as sales are concerned, they're only going to build a handful of these, 220 built for the world. Only 100 of those units coming to the United States with a starting price of $164,900 US. So again, if you want to get on this, you better get to your BMW dealership right now. Next up on the list, a little vehicle that I really enjoy but just really flies under the radar. It's the Chevrolet SS, and it's got a brand new refresh package for basically just the nose section of it. Yes, the bottom mouth underneath the grill work is a little bit different, and then around the daytime running lamps gets a little bit of an upgrade. But this is a vehicle that really flies under the radar. If you really wanted to own a machine that you could really hoon around in and not get in a whole lot of trouble, because most people wouldn't think it would be able to do it because it looks a little bit like an Impala, maybe a little bit like a Malibu. But the heart of the beast, underneath the hood, is where it's really the fun part is, because this is basically a Holden Commodore, the Holden group being the Australian group, and they build a lot of high-performance machines over there. This one has a 6.2-liter LS3 normally aspirated V8 making 415 brake horsepower and 415 pounds-feet of torque, and that is shifted through either a 6-speed automatic or, for this particular generation, a 6-speed manual. A lot of stuff about this car possibly going away in the year of 2017 or 2018. This vehicle's never really got the good marketing campaign that I would really love to see Chevrolet and General Motors put into this machine to get sales numbers up. I think over the year, I think they've probably sold somewhere around 2,500 to maybe 3,000 units for the year, which is next to nothing. It's just a sleek little car that you could really fly under the radar, and that's why I love it so much. So it'd be interesting to see if maybe quite possibly one of the supercharged versions may come down the pike, maybe with the engine out of the Z06, quite like they have over in Australia. So we'll have to wait and see on all those particular prospects in the future. Next up on the list, well, continued rumors float about Lamborghini building a special edition model celebrating the 100th birthday of Faurizio Lamborghini, the father of Lamborghini, who actually passed away several years ago. It would have been 100 years old in the year of 2016, and apparently at the Geneva Motor Show, we may get to see a brand new Lamborghini Aventador Centenario, which I know I probably butchered as far as being 100 in Italian. Now, it's going to celebrate that 100th anniversary, and pretty much all we know, and as rumors have been floating around for the past several weeks, and were really hotted up when it came around to the Frankfurt Motor Show, is that the vehicle will be an LP770-4, 4 being for all-wheel drive. Obviously, the 770 being this vehicle is going to make close to 800 brake horsepower. Again, this is all still rumor mill stuff, so we don't know anything for absolute, but hopefully we'll know a whole lot more come the end of the year. Next up on the list, in a weird little situation, Volkswagen's put the halt on all sales of all their TDI, their turbo diesel engines, here in the United States. They're actually, all the vehicles that are on showroom lots will no longer be able to be sold, and it's because of a situation that apparently Volkswagen, when they developed this new TDI engine, apparently it wasn't going to meet EPA strict emission standards. So they did a little computer algorithm setup to actually trick it into getting better for the EPA cycle numbers, which means the vehicle doesn't make it. And they actually, somewhere around 500,000 units were actually sold of this machine. Now the EPA has caught wind. So here's the situation. They can't sell any of the vehicles now, and they're probably going to get a hefty fine. And this is on the heels of, you remember Toyota and the unintended acceleration situation, where they were fined 1.2 million, or 1.2 billion, I should say. And now Chevrolet just got fined over the past week almost 900 million US for the whole ignition situation, the ignition switch situation. So apparently this isn't going to be near as big a deal, other than Volkswagen did try to deceive the EPA. There's a lot of talk that they may get fined upwards of around 40,000 US per model sold. That may be per vehicle actually built, though, as well. So we'll have to wait and see on this deal. Weird situation. Next up on the list, we've talked about these three chaps ad nauseum. Obviously, Richard Hammond, James May, and Jeremy Clarkson. And, of course, the unpictured Andy Willman, the ex-group that was Top Gear. Apparently, their new show on Amazon Prime may have a name, and this rumor has been hitting the interwebs hard over the past several days. And if you're a like on the Facebook page, the Motorcars Facebook page, you saw me put up this picture a handful of days ago, which is this. Possibly this show could be called Gear Knobs. Gear being a little poke back to the old Top Gear days, and knobs because, I don't know, because it's funny. I know I called Jeremy Clarkson a ginormous knob over the past several shows, but I know I don't have any insight in how this is real or anything like this. Again, this is just a situation where the group that actually, the lawyer group that was helping Mr. Clarkson when the whole fracas situation went down, apparently is trademarking this name and trademarking every other spelling of this name in and around it for their usage. So there's a good possibility that this could be the name of the show, which I kind of like the name Gear Knob. So we'll have to wait and see what comes of this in the future. And that's all there was that I thought was worth talking about for this edition of Motor Cars Enthusiasts. If you want to jump on over to the Facebook page, links down in the show notes. Also, if you'd like to subscribe to the channel, you can do so at any time and get the first dibs on the brand new shows as soon as they come out. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again real soon.